At a time when Korean dramas are overflowing with healing romances and emotionally safe love stories, Perfect Crown has delivered a bold and unexpected twist. Episode 10, which aired on May 9th, was not merely another high-tension episode, it marked the moment the drama evolved from a royal romance into a chilling political tragedy about power. What truly shocked viewers was not the palace fire at the end of the episode or Hee Joo's desperate rush into the flames. The real shock came from a deeper realization: every major decision made by the characters is no longer driven by ambition, but by love. And that is exactly what makes Perfect Crown far more dangerous than any ordinary drama in the genre. A contract marriage that turned into a declaration of war against the royal family. In many Korean dramas, the contract marriage trope is simply a convenient setup to bring two leads together. But in Perfect Crown, that idea becomes an entire political structure. When Hee Joo, played by IU, and Grand Prince Leon, played by Byeon Woo Seok, are exposed for signing a prenuptial agreement, the scandal instantly explodes into a political crisis. That is because in the world of Perfect Crown, the royal family no longer holds absolute power. They exist only as symbolic figures in a modern society where conglomerates and elite business families control the real authority. A royal marriage, therefore, is not a matter of personal love, it is a strategic transaction capable of shifting the balance of power between rival factions. That is why Hee Joo kneels before her biological father to save Leon. The scene is not simply about sacrifice. It exposes a painful truth: in this world, even love demands the surrender of one's dignity. Hee Joo is no longer a female lead waiting to be saved. The most groundbreaking aspect of episode 10 lies in how the drama completely dismantles the traditional image of a passive heroine. Hee Joo does not wait for rescue. Instead, she voluntarily attends the royal council meeting and takes all responsibility upon herself. It is an incredibly dangerous decision because, within the political system of Perfect Crown, the person who accepts blame becomes the sacrificial offering for the entire establishment. What makes the moment even more powerful is that Hee Joo fully understands what she is doing. She is not acting out of innocence or blind devotion. She knows that if Leon falls, he will lose everything: his reputation, his position, and any chance of claiming the throne. So she chooses to become his final shield. This is why audiences have begun viewing IU's character differently. Hee Joo is no longer just a woman swept away by love for a prince. She is becoming a genuine power player. Many viewers are now realizing that from the very beginning, Hee Joo has actually been the character changing the course of the game the most. Leon finally abandons his silence. For much of the series, Leon existed as a man stripped of power. He was admired and beloved by the public, yet denied succession rights. He understood the corruption within the royal family, but chose silence in order to survive. Episode 10 changes everything. After watching Hee Joo endure humiliation and sacrifice herself for him, Leon finally reveals the late king's royal decree and declares that the throne rightfully belongs to him. This is no longer merely a struggle for political control. It is the moment a man decides to destroy the entire old order to protect the person he loves. Perfect Crown is incredibly intelligent in the way it transforms love into the trigger for political rebellion. That makes the drama feel closer to a modern Shakespearean tragedy than a conventional idol romance. Yoon Rang may be the most terrifying character in the series. If Leon represents rebellion and Hee Joo represents sacrifice, then Yoon Rang, portrayed by Gong Seung-yeon, represents the old power system itself. Her confrontation with Leon is one of the most unforgettable scenes in the episode. Yoon Rang is not enraged because the throne is threatened. What truly infuriates her is the fact that Leon dares to break the unspoken rules of the royal family, a system where everyone survives by suppressing emotions, hiding truths, and compromising morality for stability. Her question to him essentially carries a bitter message. You endured it before. Why can't you endure it now? That line perfectly reflects the mindset of people who have lived inside power structures for too long. They no longer distinguish between right and wrong, they only care about preserving the system that benefits them. That is why Yoon Rang is far more frightening than a typical villain. She is not chaotic or irrational. She is cold, logical, and deeply aware of how power truly functions. The palace fire is the drama's biggest symbol. Many viewers saw the palace fire at the end of episode 10 as a simple cliffhanger. In reality, it may be the most symbolic image in the entire series. In Perfect Crown, the palace is not merely the residence of royalty. It represents an outdated, artificial, and deeply deceptive power structure that traps every character inside it. When the flames erupt while Leon remains trapped within, the drama seems to declare, if he wants to survive, he must escape the golden cage called royalty. Then Hiju runs directly into the fire to save him. That moment is not simply tragic romance. It feels more like a ritual of rebirth. Two people who began their relationship with a cold contractual agreement are now willing to die for each other. And with that scene, Perfect Crown completely transcends the boundaries of a typical romance drama. The rising ratings are no accident. Episode 9 achieved 11.9% ratings in the Seoul metropolitan area, 11.7% nationwide, and peaked at 13.4%, an extremely impressive achievement for a drama with such heavy political themes. The success is not driven solely by its star-studded cast. Modern audiences are becoming exhausted with predictable dramas where every character is easy to read and every conflict follows familiar formulas. Perfect Crown, however, constantly creates uncertainty. No one knows who will betray whom. No one is certain love will survive. And no one knows the ultimate price of claiming the throne. That uncertainty is exactly what keeps audiences addicted. Perfect Crown does not sell fairy tales. It sells the suffocating emotional terror of being forced to choose between power and love. And after episode 10, perhaps the most frightening truth is no longer the battle for the throne itself. It is the realization that Leon and Hiju are now willing to burn down the entire world for each other.